Alright. Well, we're back to do our post vacuum. If you watched our previous videos, this was a carpet that hadn't been vacuumed or cleaned in over 3 years. And it was a huge pre-vacuum. Lots of mess. And so we pre-vacuumed it, we cleaned it, and now we're back to do a post vacuum. And we're using the Dyson for the post vac so we can see how much dirt we're picking up. And it's pretty cleaned out. The inside of the bin's kind of dusty, but it's been cleaned.
We did use the sanitary for post vacuuming, but the Dyson, you can see, we can actually show the trash. So that's why we're using it. It's just easier to show the audience what's in it. Here we go.
got one more room.
Let's see what we've done so far.
We're picking up a good amount.
This was real dirty yesterday, so
This is what happens when someone hasn't vacuumed.
it's actually pretty good. It's got some stuff in it, but yesterday we picked up what would be considered the mound of a large cantaloupe all compacted together. If you can imagine, you know.
Well, we filled the bin up 3 times yesterday.
Oh, heavily.
Then we cleaned. And when people haven't vacuumed in 3 years,
It tends to be bad.
and they've lived pretty dirty and gotten their carpets filthy, you can't expect to get everything cleaned in one cleaning
I
session.
expected to get more than this on a post back, but I'm glad we did it. It means we did a good job yesterday.
This room here was pretty filthy yesterday, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's not a big shock if you go the day after carpet cleaning, if you go and find a lot of stuff if you vacuum. The day after someone's cleaned the carpets, when the carpets are fully dry, is a great time to
Oh,
vacuum. Because you're going to lose some stuff from the cleaning process that you can pick up with your vacuum if you hit it before it has a chance to get tracked back in and matted back down again.
And one more thing I want to say, and it's about something I said in the last video. People have asked us about getting Kirby vacuums. Now here's the deal with Kirby's. We've had a couple of Kirby's and we didn't really like them a lot. They are good vacuums, but we actually like Sanitaires. Now there's a guy, and I'm not going to mention his name, that's in England that recently got his first Kirby apparently. And I think he's having a good time with it. They are great vacuums, and we like them, but we just sort of like Sanitaires a little better. So if people ask us about Kirby's, we've had 2 of them before we started making videos, and they're not really our thing. They're kind of expensive, and I don't like having to put paper bags and nothing. So our thing is we like Sanitaires. They do love the Kirby.
Well, any kind of vacuum you get, if it's a decent quality vacuum, at first you're going to love it, but after you've used them for years and years, you kind of get tired of them.
Yeah.
You start to figure out their little quirks and
Now,
deficiencies.
the guy in England, I'm not mentioning his name, he may not want me to, he's going to love his Kirby because they are great. Kirby's rolls and Sanitaires are the best in the world. Well, Dysons are good too, but Kirby's rolls and Sanitaires are all like what you call your dirty air vacuums. And they're really nice vacuums. They're super powerful.
Yeah, but they can be awkward for some cleaning situations.
But if you ask us about Kirby's, we've had them, and we don't have them for a reason. We didn't really get into them that much. They are good vacuums, though, just not for what we do. Here's the last room.
There's some black things on the carpet that you see, little spots, and those are cigarette burns. lift it up first before you pull that off. I want to see how bad the brush roll looks. Yeah, not a single hair. Good.
That's good. We got all that out yesterday. So this is all there is. And that really is more dust, and there is some hair in there, but that's a lot of dust. There's some hair, but we didn't get no hair in the brush roll, so the bad, significant amount of hair is definitely gone.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
Now this is an old carpet. If you look
Yeah,
at
this
it,
carpet was.
it's got areas that you can't get the color. It's got tons of carpet.
The residents that lived here for 3 years, and they never vacuumed or took care of the carpets at all. In fact, they kind of trashed the whole place. What I'm not sure of is if these carpets were new when they moved in, they may have been already in place. So for badly neglected carpets that you almost say were abused, they've come out pretty decent.
These were definitely abused.
There's still some areas where the carpets are a little bit matted and worn, and you can't fix
If
that.
you saw our before video, this was all deep dark, all of it. It looked like someone poured charcoal on the carpet and stepped it in and threw some soda on top of it to let it sink in good.
We generally put our videos up in order, so if you go to our channel and just go back, there'd be probably a No Work Orbiter video that came out before this, and before that was the pre-vacuum of this carpet. And you can kind of see what we started out with, how awful it was. Well, there you go. Oh, and on the Dyson, you got to remember, I sometimes forget to mention this, they're a lot more powerful if you take out the filter that's down in the ball. The filter that's in the ball, you got to remember, you have a primary cyclone system and a primary filter, and anything that gets past that gets sucked down through the motor area, and it comes out through that.
Just take it out.
Yeah, that's your HEPA filter.
It overheats your vacuum. It's just bad luck to have it in there.
Right, you get better airflow, a cooler running motor, and if you're going to run the vacuum for long periods and heavy abuse conditions like we have to put it in, it's better if you just take that filter out because it'll save you a lot of overheating and everything else. It makes it run cooler, and it's a lot more powerful. And that's part of the reason, if you look closely sometimes on the video, you can see the carpets are being lifted the whole time we're vacuuming. So that's because we have a greatly increased airflow.
Yeah.
And it just makes everything work a little bit better. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the post vacuum, and stay tuned for our next video, which will be upcoming soon.
One more thing. The guy in England with the Kirby, put up some vacuum filters. We want to see the Kirby work.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of videos with it.
We won't mention his name, Roger Lane, but, you know, if he wants to put up videos, Kirby's are neat machines, so don't think that we don't like them. They just don't work good for what we do. Now, around the house, things like that, they'd be fine.
Well, a lot of people use them for carpet cleaning businesses, but we used them and we just had trouble getting them to pick stuff up. We couldn't adjust that.
Yeah, and the sanitaries have the same issue, which is sometimes you're between the settings and you can either set it just a little bit too low or a little bit too high, and you're kind of stuck on some carpets. And sometimes, like on a carpet like this, where you have worn areas, you may have to adjust the height of the machine a couple of times just to vacuum one room because it doesn't stay at the same setting the whole time.
And probably the advantage where we pick the sanitary overall is, first off, we think the brush rolls are better.
Yeah, they have good brush rolls.
Especially the VG1 brush roll, but we like the brush rolls better. And, you know, they're easier to replace parts on. They're just cheaper. Yeah. And they're more like a Kirby's great for a home person that takes care of their carpet, and they're not going to have, when you do commercial work like us, you're going to go through stuff, and you want cheap repairs.
Yeah, so, sanitaries are a lot less expensive to maintain.
Kirby's everything's expensive about them, but they're nice. But sanitaries are cheap. You can replace our small sanitary for $115.
Yeah, and someday we may get a big Royal 18-inch commercial.
We've contemplated it.
But the thing is, these Dysons, the maneuverability and the ability to do the edge cleaner with the hose, and just being able to tackle all sorts of different environments, and the automatic adjustment of the height on the carpet. You don't really have to mess with the settings too much, you just go. And with a lot of the other vacuums, you got to fidget with the settings all the time.
The Dyson was really a fluke. I got it to vacuum my house.
Yeah.
And then one day we had a Bizzle that broke down, and we didn't have a choice, so we took the Dyson out, and it turned out to work real well, so we've been using it a whole lot because we had trouble with a cheap Bizzle, a $50 Bizzle vacuum.
Yeah, so the Dysons are not really a good choice for most commercial work because they're just too expensive.
They work, but
they'll do the job if you take care of them.
I got it for my home.
There's a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of added maintenance you want to do when you use them that way that you don't do if you use them around your house. You definitely keep the brush rolls perfectly clean at all times. You keep your cyclone system cleaned out. You make sure your filters are clean. You don't wait 3 or 4 months to clean your filters. You clean them, every couple of weeks at the least. And so there's a lot of maintenance that goes with them. Sure. And this vacuum has some little issues that we need to fix, but it's still working. But the Cyclone needs overhauled, needs a new gasket. The hose is just now developed after over 6 years. It has a little tear at the top, so you kind of have to make sure that that opening isn't exposed, or it's not going to pick up very good off the floor.
But
So
we just use it like it is. It works.
yeah, we just run it the way it is. We'll either fix this one up or we'll get a newer one.
We probably won't do no repairs on it until there's at least $100 worth of repairs. I'm not doing $10 repairs.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just
it's
not
still
worth it.
running.
Yeah, it runs great.
We just have to take care of the little issues, and if it becomes the thing that really causes the performance to suffer a lot, we'll fix it. But anyway, that's all of the the post-vacuum video, and we hope you'll stay tuned and see our next videos as they come out. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.